Issue 2. The Making of Uberman Summary. Years have passed, and Jamal grows into a determined teenager facing new trials. In this issue, the gritty realism of capital city intensifies crime and injustice threaten his community. Jamal's nearly superhuman intellect matures. He excels academically and trains his body rigorously. A personal tragedy and the influence of a mentor push him towards taking action. Jamal begins to craft the identity of Uberman, drawing on strategic brilliance and physical training in lieu of superpowers. His red and blue costume makes a brief debut in the shadows as he tests the limits of fighting for justice without compromising his ethics. Narrative. By the time Jamal is 18, capital city's west side has grown more dangerous. Years of economic hardship have left abandoned buildings and flickering streetlights that cast long shadows at night. Gangs and organized crime are on the rise, and Jamal can't ignore the injustices he sees daily. Despite the chaos around him, Jamal has remained steadfast in his studies and principles. He's tall and athletic now, from intense training, early morning runs through the neighborhood, evening workouts at a local boxing diamond. His intellect has only sharpened. Teachers marvel at his problem-solving skills. He aces advanced calculus and computer science classes with ease, processing information with uncanny speed like a living computer. Yet, Jamal remains humble and quiet. Driven by a private mission he's still shaping. Tragedy strikes one summer night. Jamal's best friend Darius, now a high school senior like Jamal, gets caught in the crossfire of a turf war between rival gangs. Darius is badly wounded by a stray bullet when walking home from basketball practice. Jamal spends a harrowing night at the hospital, holding Darius's hand as his friend fights for life. Darius survives, but the incident leaves Jamal shaken to his core. He realizes that innocent people, good people like Darius are paying the price for the city's lawlessness. Sitting in the hospital waiting room, Jamal confronts a painful truth. The system is failing his community. Police efforts are half-hearted in his neighborhood. Many officers don't even bother collecting proper witness statements. Jamal overhears a jaded detective say, "Just another gangbanger, not worth our time." The callous lie enrages him quietly. Darius is not a gang member, just a kid with dreams. Jamal's hands clench into fists. If the authorities will not seek justice, perhaps someone else must. During Darius's recovery, Jamal finds guidance from a mentor figure, Dr. Elijah Baker, a retired professor and family friend who runs a local community center. Dr. Baker was once active in the civil rights movement, and he recognizes the simmering anger and purpose in Jamal. Inviting Jamal into his study lined with books and old protest posters, Dr. Baker shares stories of times he stood up against injustice. He senses Jamal's desire to act and counsels him. Strength without guidance can burn everything down. You must be smart, strategic. Use that remarkable mind of yours. Over chess games, which Jamal inevitably wins with brilliant strategy, Dr. Baker teaches him about ethical leadership and strategy, referencing historical generals and activists. Under Dr. Baker's tutelage, Jamal hones not just his body but also tactical thinking, learning to anticipate an opponent's moves like a chess master. At night, Jamal begins his secret training. Wearing a simple black hoodie, he prowls the neighborhood rooftops and alleys, using his intellect to map out crime patterns. He notes that criminal activity in his area often peaks at 3 a.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. Again, those numbers appear. He refines his physical skills by learning martial arts from an old dojo run by Sensei Okada, a grizzled karate master who is initially skeptical of Jamal's motives. But Jamal's sincerity and discipline win him over. In exchange for cleaning the dojo and assisting younger students, Jamal receives intensive training in combat and stealth. He trains with single-minded focus, studying anatomy books at night to understand pressure points and leverage, practicing moves until they're reflex. Unlike many brash youths, Jamal refuses to take shortcut. She has no superpowers, so he must attain perfection through effort. As months pass, Jamal also quietly acquires equipment. Baker's help. He salvages old computers to set up a small underground lab in an abandoned basement. He studies coding and builds a makeshift surveillance system. Using cheap cameras and drones, he programs himself. He even stitches together a rudimentary costume, a suit of navy blue reinforced fabric, repurposed from durable old sports gear, and a secondhand red cape he found in a thrift. The colors are inspired by heroes of old, perhaps a nod to Superman's palette, but Jamal chooses them also for symbolism. Blue for truth, red for the courage and sacrifice required to uphold it. He designs a small insignia for the suit, a simple triangle with the numbers 3, 6, and 9 at its corners, hidden on the inner lining as his personal talisman. Jamal's intellect guides these preparations. Every gadget he fashions and every skill he masters is part of a larger plan forming in his mind. Finally, one night, Jamal is ready to test himself. Reports have spread of a string of violent muggings near the subway station. The police have been slow to respond, so Jamal decides this is the moment to act. Donning his makeshift costume under his clothes, he waits until dusk. In a dimly lit alley by the station, two thugs corner a young woman for her purse. Jamal intervenes, hood pulled low, and a bandana over his face to conceal his identity. With calculated precision, he disarms one attacker by striking a pressure point in the wrist, a move practiced relentlessly at the dojo, then outmaneuvers the second with a feint and a sweep kick. The training pays off. The fight is over in seconds. The mugger's left stunned on the ground. The young woman stares in shock at her unexpected savior. Jamal simply returns her purse and, in a calm voice, advises her to stay safe. He vanishes into the shadows before she or anyone can ask who he is. Adrenaline surges through Jamal as he escapes over the rooftops. He realizes two things. He can make a difference, and the disguise works. However, a part of him feels conflicted when the woman asked, "Who are you?" Jamal said only, "A friend," and left. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the full truth either. This haunts him slightly, as his code against lying is absolute. Back at his basement lab, Jamal resolves that if he is to continue this crusade, he will need a Namian identity he can stand behind truthfully. Remembering his studies of philosophy and Tesla's concept of unlocking human potential, he settles on Uberman, not as a boast of being above others, but as an ideal to strive toward, inspired by the term Übermensch, meaning overman or superman in philosophy. Uberman will be a symbol of the best humanity can be: intelligent, ethical, and unyielding in the face of injustice. When he uses that name, he will be telling the truth about what he represents. Thus, on that fateful night, Jamal Washington fully embraces his path. In the darkness of a gritty city, a new kind of hero is being forged on, who has no powers but his wits and training, and no weapon but the truth. Uberman is born.